All. Very good evening to all.
Good evening. Salam.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening all. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, Kayum, you're audible.
Great. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining this session. We are meeting like after a couple of months due to Ramadan, and then the situation in the region was not favorable. But we hope the situation will settle down and we'll have peace and prosperity in the region.
Inshallah.
We'll start in another 2 to 3 minutes. Raja, we can start actually. It's already time.
Yeah, no problem. So shall we?
Yes.
Yeah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Our respected leaders, members, fellow ASSPNs, and participants from different parts of the world. On behalf of American Society of Safety Professionals, Kuwait Chapter, I would like to welcome you all for today's technical meet on heat stress management. We are having an interesting topic today as the summer is going to start. It's supposed to start by this time. Still, Alhamdulillah. So it is quite early for today's technical meet. Usually you used to have by 7 p.m. like that because of the availability and to manage the speaker from outside of Kuwait. So we kept it by this time. So people are joining still, mashallah, we have around 30 participants so far. So once again, I'll welcome you all on behalf of ASSP Kuwait Chapter. Usually, we used to have this technical meet as a physical one because of the situation and all, even regarding because of speaker, we have this as a webinar or a technical meet. So let's start as a regular practice with the HSC movement, as it is HSC forum or HSC organization. So I request Khayyam to play the HSC movement. Before that, let's go through with the agenda. So just we had a welcome address. President, then we'll have president address, briefing of chapter activities for those who are joining first time, for the new members, and then speaker introduction. Speaker will present the topic, then we'll have vote of thanks and closing remarks. So let's go with technical moment now.
They say that it's when you make mistakes that you learn the most. You reflect on what happened and think about what you might have
Hope there's a sound.
Yeah, there is sound. Please go ahead.
done differently. Would you have dealt differently with pressures from the client regarding budget and timescales if you knew the impact it might have on safety? Would you have taken the extra time to draw up a new risk assessment instead of copying and pasting an old one? Would you have cross-checked for simultaneous operations happening on site? Perhaps you wouldn't have overlooked the shortcuts that people were taking on a regular basis. Maybe you would have made 100% sure that the team was competent and fully aware of the risks before starting work. You could have taken the time to do a proper permit, toolbox talk, and ensured everyone was familiar with the environment. Maybe you should have followed the activities of your team more closely. You wish you had intervened earlier. Me, I could have listened. I would have followed the life-saving rules. I should have learned from mistakes I'd already made, instead of waiting to learn from this one.
Safety is not responsibility of somebody else. We are all safety leaders. We are all responsible for safety. Each of us has the duty and must report each non-conformities, has to exercise his stop work authority. And this is what really can save lives. It is really what can save injuries. This is really what can save incidents. Regretting is definitely not enough.
Hope the message is clear with the HSC moment. It is all about proactive preparation, not regret when some incident happened later on. So this is all about, the message is clear. Thank you for watching. So our president is around, Mr. Qayyum.
No, I don't think so. He's there. He's not there.
Okay. So you can skip this slide. So let's jump on to our chapter activities, what ASSP is doing, what are all ASSP activities and all. So let's start with an achievement of ASSP Kuwait chapter. We are proud to say we are the only chapter, or we can say in the region, who got a platinum chapter award 9 times in last 10 years. So Alhamdulillah. So we got 9 times a platinum chapter award for ASSP Kuwait chapter. Then another achievement I can share, like we have been certified of 9001 since 2019. Since then, we could able to retain the certification. We can proudly say we are the only chapter among all other ASSP chapters who is ISO certified for 9001. So recently we achieved this, and recently we have been awarded with the certificate. Past 1-2 months back, re-audit has been taken place. So this is for your information. Let's move on. So these are all our activities. Like as I said, today's meeting was about to physical meet. So we started a 7 months technical meet series. From that efforts, we could able to conduct successfully a technical meet on road safety and driving behavior on 27th November at Best Western Plus Hotel. Dr. Ritesh Jaiswal and Mr. Abdullah Al Busaidi had presented in this technical meet. Around 60 plus participants got benefited from this technical meet. So then we had our second technical meet on process safety innovation by Mr. Arshad Ayub Sheikh, who is a PSM specialist. It had taken place on 17th December at Calicut Live Restaurant. Venue has been mentioned wrongly. So these are the glimpses of our technical meets which we have done on physical meets. Yeah. So then we had another technical meet. On that we had two topics: women safety in leadership by Ms. Sarah, and preventing serious incidents and fatalities by Mr. Thomas. It was held on 15th January at Park Inn Hotel, Radisson. 50 plus participants got benefited with this technical meet. So then we had successfully conducted on ISO 14001 lead auditor certified training program from 9th to 14th February. 5 participants got benefited from this along with other organization members. Total 15 were there. So then we had another technical meet on series on digital transformation in HSE by Mr. David. It was on 5th February at Best Western Plus. You can see the glimpse. So then we had another important topic, which was unlock your Lean Six Sigma edge. It is on Lean Six Sigma on 10th February. Venue was Best Western Plus again, and 40 plus participants were there to make use of this opportunity. So these are all our technical meets, physical technical meets. Then we had launched a professional voluntary innovator to support the national safety efforts. Recently, we have circulated email to all our members. Alhamdulillah, we have got many responses from our professionals, mashallah. So we are going to, if at all required, we are going to submit these nominations to ministry to get help to support the cause if needed. It's still going on. If you at all you are interested, you can enroll your name, you can register to be part of it, to volunteer yourself. This is another
Latest
initiative.
update, we have 37 nominations.
Oh, mashallah, very good. Thank you for the update. The slides are moving very slowly, Khayyam. So these are all our chapter activities which we have done in the last 2-3 months. we were sharing. Someone is asking how to enroll. We have officially circulated a notification, a mail to all our members in Kuwait. Those are who all are in Kuwait, they can enroll. If at all you didn't receive, you are a member, you can contact our chapter executive so that he can help you out. So this is all about the activities. Then let's introduce our today's speaker for the session. Dr. David Huang is the founder and managing director of Scarlet Tech, which was established in 2011, and he integrating expertise in a medicine, public health, and ICT. He holds a MD from National Chiang Kong University, completed his pediatric residency at its affiliated hospital, and earned a Master's of International Health with postdoctoral research at Johns Hopkins University. He has held key roles with the World Health Organization Collaboration Center for Injury Prevention and the Department of Health in Abu Dhabi, and has served as a consultant to the World Health Organization and Changung International Medical Center. So thank you for accepting our invitation to present this topic, Dr. David. So
thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, please, the screen is yours. You can share your presentation now.
Sure, thank you. So just let me share my screen.
Sure, go ahead, Doctor.
Hi, good evening, everyone, and salam alaikum. So it's my pleasure to be here today to share my past experiences in this topic to understand and manage workplace heat stress and to apply the thermal work limit for safer workers. And I believe this topic is very, very important for everyone, especially in Kuwait and in Gulf region, because the managing heat stress is always a very tough topic, especially for all new coming workers and even for the old workers. So I am very happy to be here today to share my past experiences working in Health Authority Abu Dhabi, and also how to implement a new heat stress standards, which is the thermal work limit in many countries around the world. Okay, so thanks so much for the introduction. Then I will just go very quickly about my background. So before I founded this company, Scarlet Tech, I was a training physician, especially focusing in pediatrics. And then I went to the United States, Johns Hopkins, to complete my master's degree in international health, and also work with World Health Organization, the Injury Prevention Center, and I've been to like Pakistan, UAE, Mexico to help them, especially the governmental sectors, to organize and to also to implement the like a worker injury prevention programs among these countries. And then I am also the founder and managing director of the Scarlet Tech. And at Scarlet Tech, I also work with professors from Australia to develop heat stress management and monitoring meters. And nowadays, these heat stress monitor meters has become the _1 sales, especially in Middle East region. And so for the past 15 years, I was working with health, public health, or HSC professionals in combating like heat-related illness and also the work-related injuries. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so today we're going to cover the following sections. for the injury, heat stress injury prevention, and also the management. And the first one is to starting with the epidemiology on heat can affect the economy and also the health. And second one, we're going through the very deep human physiology on the heat stress. So this can also help you understand and explain to your fellows why this is so important to prevent the heat stress at work site. And then we're going to study a little bit about the environmental measurement on these parameters to better measure the heat. So we can assess the heat and then knowing how to manage the heat. And I'm going to spend like 20 minutes in explaining what is the thermal work limit and followed by applying the TWL products to the fields. And the last, we're going to share some very valuable case studies and the implementation of these new standards in Gulf regions. And for the last 10 to 15 minutes, I will keep it as a QA. Okay, so let's get started. So let's start with the epidemiology of the heat. Okay, so here in the top of this slide, we can see four major numbers. The first one is the mortality of heat-related deaths among workers, which is according to the study in Qatar, which is 6.5 fatal heat deaths per 100,000 workers per year. And comparing to developed countries like comparing to European or United States, this number is 6 times higher than these countries. So you can see that in Gulf region, the heat-related deaths is quite high. And during the summertime, I mean, for the whole GCC countries, there are about 60 to 70% of the working days, they are actually not suitable for workers to work outside. And for GCC construction workers, they also have 3 times higher heat illness rate than the office workers. And according to ILO, which is International Labor Organization, the work hours loss due to heat stress globally can reach to $300 billion. And then let's take a look at the Kuwait. In Kuwait, if we look at the numbers of the ER visits during summertime, there are about 30 to 40% of the ER visits are related to heat illness. And the peak season is happening in, well, which is quite obviously among June to August. And the peak time, peak hour is about 10 to 3 p.m. And for the Kuwait workforce, the majority of the workers are from other countries. So they are also facing higher risk than like a local Kuwaiti or local people because they are from the countries which may, the temperature may not be so high or the working environment may not be so extreme here in Kuwait or in GCC. And so there are several heat challenges here in Kuwait. The first one is, of course, the temperature in the summertime. And in summertime, the ambient temperature can reach to 45 to 50 degrees. And I remember that back to 7 or 8 years ago, there was like a measurable highest temperature in Kuwait, which was 52.7 degree, I remember. And so if we are applying that to like normal heat indexes, which is the WBGT, Weibo black bulb temperature, then it will always show this is not safe to work. So this is very important and how we can manage and cope with these high, extremely hot weather conditions for the workers to give them a better work condition. And then for the worker population in Kuwait, over 2.5 million outdoor workers and 80% of them are migrant workers, which may have like limited heat experiences in their own countries. And then for the regulatory part, I know that in Kuwait, like other GCC countries, we have the midday work ban from 11 to 4 p.m. And this happening from June to August. But if we look at the numbers and the incident rate of these heat-related illness, we can see that many of them are happening outside of this window. So we also need a better measurement system and to determine how risk and how dangerous it is among these work ban working windows. So this is also quite important to know. And here in ASSP Kuwait mission, as we are the professional HSE workers, we are professional HSE managers, we need to develop like a new heat index or like a new heat management for the authorities or even for our own companies to have a better, to have a best practice for the local HSE professionals. And I know that in Kuwait, there's a national development plan, so which means like a booming in the construction will happen in the next 10 to 15 years. So which means more and more workers will come from other countries to Kuwait. And the first part they are going to face is the heat. So that's why we are going to talk about this session today. Okay, so then let's talk about the heat physiology and hydration. This may be a little bit complex and difficult for many people, but I think this is quite essential to understand how heat can harm the workers. Okay, so this is a human body, and the human body, this is like quite basic physiology. Our human body must maintain the 37 degrees Celsius to keep the body works, because in our body, the many chemical reactions, they are already calibrated in this temperature, which is 37 degrees Celsius. So if above or lower than this 37 degrees Celsius, then the body chemical reaction will stop working. So this is quite important. So even plus or minus 2-degree deviation can cause life-threatening events. So you can see that people have a hypothermia or hypothermia. And for our human body, the muscle, they are actually very, very low efficient machine, because the muscles, they are only produce 10% efficiency. So which means workers who may lose 90% of energy, which are already transforming to heat to human body while they are working. So 90% of the energy, they are transferred to heat. So the body has to continuously dissipate, to expel this heat to the environment to keep the human body working very well. And for the outside temperature, I mean, for the ambient temperature, if it is more than 37 degrees, then our cooling mechanism, one of the most important cooling mechanisms is the evaporation of the sweat becomes the only cooling mechanism. And if the humidity gets higher and higher, then the sweat evaporation will be blocked. So which will cause you more and more heat accumulated in your body. So the result will cause your core temperature increase dramatically and develop a heat illness. And in the end, it can become the fatal event. So let me explain more in the next slide. So this is a very simple heat balance equation. So we have the heat in, which is the heat from work, from the human body work, plus the heat from the outside environment. And of course, we need the heat out to keep the human body temperature balance. So for the heat out, that means the human cooling mechanism, majorly by the sweat evaporation, and we also have the convection cooling mechanism and the radiation. So if the heat in and heat out is equal, well, I'm sorry, if the heat out is equal or greater than the heat in, that means we are safe to work because our human body has already expelled a lot of heat outside. But if our human body fail to take out this heat, then the heat illness will happen. So let's take a look at the bottom four major cooling mechanism of human body for the heat loss. The majority one is the sweat evaporation. And when it is very hot or in the humid environment, it composes 60% of the human cooling mechanism, and which is the sweat from the skin. And it can also bring the heat away. And for the radiation, the radiation, I mean, the best explanation of the radiation is that during summertime, if you walk into the AC room from outside, you will feel your human body becomes very comfortable. That is because the infrared heat from your human body surface to the cooler environment can be lost by radiation reaction. So this composes 30% of the cooling system. And then the convection. Convection is majority brought by wind. So if you work in even like a breathing environment, then the wind can take about 10% of your body heat. And the last one is the conduction. Conduction is the direct contact through the skin to outside to surface areas like from the skin to cooling vest. So this is called the direct conduction of the heat. Okay, then let's talk a lot about the blood. The blood is actually the very important component for human body to for the cooling mechanism. So here you can consider blood as a coolant of the human body, and the normal function of the blood for human heat out is to deliver oxygen and nutrition to muscles and organs. And then while you are sweating, the majority of the sweat, they are coming from blood. And if you sweat more, which means your blood volume will decrease. So the blood volume decrease, then which may lead to less blood to the skin. So less blood to skin means the heat cannot be dissipated. And then your heart rate need to compensate because there's lower blood volume. So your heartbeat need to increase a lot to keep your blood goes to your brain or other important organs of your human bodies. So your heartbeat getting higher and higher, which will cause you excessive fatigue. And the blood to gut, to intestine, to stomach also decrease. So that will cause your fluid absorption slowly and slowly. So even when you absorb the water absorption speed will decrease. And the blood to muscles also increase because of the dehydration. So your muscle has less blood than the normal status, which will reduce your work capacity. You will feel very tired. And for the blood, and the last one is the blood flow to brain decrease, then which will cause you poor concentration. And then in these circumstances, the injury and the accident will happens. And remember that when you are feeling thirsty, which means your body has already got 2% of dehydration. So you need to ask your workers to to remember drink like routinely, because if they feel thirsty, which means they are already developing the dehydration up to 2% or even more. So, and according to the studies that typically 40% of the workers, when they are going to work, they are already dehydrated because many workers they got up very early and then they just drink like a cup of tea or even coffee, and they don't drink enough water. So which means when they go to the work site, they are already dehydrated without knowing the symptom and signs. Okay, and let's talk about more dehydration and how dehydration will affect our human bodies. So let's talk about the work performance related to dehydration. If you have already developed a 1 to 2% the water fluid loss on your human body, that means 60 to 7% of your physical work is reduced. So if you have already get dehydrated or thirsty, then your body movement will get slower and slow. And if there's already 3 to 4% dehydration, which will cause 22 to 50% reduction in the work rate. And this is very serious. And then the most important part is the mental performance, your brain. So your brain performance begins declining at just 2% of the dehydration. So that's echo to my previous slide. You will lose concentration, you will become very fatigued, and you will get tired, and your bodies cannot listen to you. So in this situation, there will be more and more incidents happening at the work site. So this is based on the field studies regarding the dehydration for the working performance. Okay, and for the sweat, and I think many of you are not aware how sweat is composed. So the sweat is not only water, so it is a composition of the water and the salt, and the majority of the salt is the sodium, and this is also based on the study. Given a worker working maximum 10 hours shift in Gulf region. And then each hour, this worker will lose 600 millimeter of water or of fluid. And so when it's come to maximum 10 hours, your human body has already lost 6 liters fluid. And in this 6 liter fluid, which contains about 30%, 30 gram salt loss, so which equals to 3 teaspoons. So when you are going to do the fluid supplement project, you need to ask workers not only drink water, but also to add electrolyte in their fluid. So this is why electrolyte supplement is very important. Okay, so let's go to see the hydration. And when we are talking about the hydration plan, what do you need to for workers to drink? And you need to ask them to drink the water and electrolyte solution, so to keep the human body balanced. And you also need to ask the workers to drink waters and electrolyte frequently. Let's say usually in the work site, you will have like every 30 hours, you need to take a rest and ask workers to drink like at least 300 to 500 milliliters every 30 minutes to keep them hydrated. And also to avoid the high sugar sport drink, because if this is already high sugar, it will cause your gut, your intestine absorption gets slower, and also to avoid the caffeine and the alcohol, because they are actually diuretics. So if you drink more and more coffee or even beers, your body will get dehydrated more. And here on the right hand side is a very useful, beneficial urine color examination. So you can also ask your workers to check their urine colors. If it is well hydrated, it means it is like a light or pale yellow. And if it is get darker brown, and the worst situation is that no urine, which means your kidney has already stopped working. So this is quite serious. So you can also ask your workers to check the urine colors at the work site. And let's talk about why caffeine and alcohol are absolutely avoided and prohibited in the work site, because they are diuretics. So the diuretic means they will stimulate the kidney to produce more and more urine, and which will deteriorate in the dehydration status. So let's look at this alcohol-induced dehydration effects. And given a scenario that the workers is already working 8 hours a day, and they are dehydrated by 3 liters of water, a fluid. And if they drink 3 liter water, which means they have a net gain 3 kilo. So this guy is fully dehydrated. But if after working they drink 3 liter beer, of course in the real situation I don't think anybody can drink 3 liter beer in such a short time. But if they drink 3 liter beer, they will actually get net loss to 0.5 kg, because the beer is actually a very, very good diuretic. So they will cause your body pulling out more and more the water out. So this is so-called the alcohol-induced dehydration effect. So please do remember that do not provide caffeine or alcoholic drinks to the workers on site. Okay, now let's talk about the heat illness. And in this section, I'm going to talk about how to recognize and manage and prevent the heat illness. So let's start with the most fatal, serious situation of the heat-related illness. The first one is a heat stroke. So, well, basically in the heat stroke patient, what I ever seen is that their body temperature is already more than 40 degrees Celsius, because their cooling system is completely failed. So which means they are not able to get out any heat from their human body. And usually these patients, they are observed with no sweating, because their cooling mechanism is already shut down. And their skin is usually very hot, very dry, because there's no water in the human body in this kind of patients. And they will develop to coma, loss of conscious. And in this situation, this is very emergency. You need to call the ambulance immediately, and keep these patients in the bathtub, filling with ice water, and to remove their clothes, and to try to get their cooling mechanism back to normal. And usually, I think in the work site, or as I have ever seen before, there are usually lack of the physicians to deal with this situation. So my suggestion is that to call the ambulance immediately and then send these people to a hospital, so that they can also there's opportunity for them to get back in this golden period of time. And then the second one is the heat exhaustion. And the distinguish from the heat exhaustion and the heat stroke is the body temperature. So in the heat exhaustion patients, the body temperature is usually normal or slightly higher, like 38 degrees Celsius. And their skin, well, we call it clammy skin, which means their skin is cold and wet, humid. And these kind of people usually develop headache, nausea, weakness, and dizziness. And in this situation, what you are going to do is to keep these people rest in the cooling environment, like to move them to the AC room, or to shaded areas, and keep them hydrated. And usually in these cases, they will recover within 1 to 2 days. And but I would suggest to take a rest for like 2 to 3 days. And then for other moderate to minor heat-related illness, they are heat cramps, the heat cramps is the symptom sign of the heat cramps is the very painful muscle spasm because of the electrolyte imbalance in the human body. These people, they are heavily sweating, and they are lacking of supporting electrolyte solutions, so they will develop the heat cramps. Usually is the insufficient of the calciums and the magnesiums. And so in this situation, you can give them a lot of water and electrolytes. So, and I do not suggest a massage because massage cannot ease or take out this situation. So, just to keep them drink a lot of water and electrolyte solutions. And for most, this is the most common thing in the work site is the heat rush and the fatigue. The heat rush is because the sweat duct are already blocked by excessive sweat. And so in this kind of situation, you can give them like a regular bathing to keep the sweat duct clean. And for the acclimatization, which I will mention later, can also reduce the heat fatigue over time. And well, this is a very interesting case for the heat-related illness. That is the heat collapse. So sometimes we'll see like a video clips on YouTube that a soldier or the safeguard, they fainted, they black out away under the very strong sun. This is so-called the heat collapse. And for who is at risk is that the people or the workers, they need to stand upright and stand still for a very long period of time, like the soldiers or the safeguard. And the mechanism is because that the blood is dilated in your body, so which causes you a lot of blood flows on the lower legs. So there's not sufficient blood going back to the heart, and then no sufficient blood to the heart, which also means not sufficient blood to the brain, and in the end will cause you fainting. And also the heat can cause accident because the sweaty palms, so you cannot easily grip the hand tools very firmly, and also the dizziness and light headache will also cause you falling from height or from the scaffolding. So these are all the related injuries due to heat illness. So based on my statement, actually the heat-related illness and injuries are more common and more often than what we have seen in the ER, because many of these accidents are actually due to dehydration or due to the heat causes accidents. Okay, so then let's talk about the acclimatization, and this is how our human body adapts, get used to the hot environment. And this is also very important to know, especially for HSC officers to give an induction for the new coming workers. They are from other countries. And so the human body is a very good machine that can adapt itself to the hot environment. So so let's first go to see the acclimatization timeline. So the acclimatization, which means your body is adapted to the hot environment, and usually this process takes about 10 to 14 days. And suppose if a new workers just come to Kuwait for like 3 days, and they only develop 30% of the acclimatization, which means they are 3 times higher to develop the heat-related illness at the work site. So in these circumstances, what we usually suggest is to adjust their workload. So they can start with the self-paced or to start with a very light workload until their body adapted to the hot, humid weather here in Kuwait, in GCC areas. And let's take a look at the acclimatization. And this is very magic because your blood will get increased up to 30%. So with sufficient blood, then your sweat rate will increase to 50%. And also the heart rate, because they don't compensate anymore, so your heart rate will decrease under the same workload, and the core temperature will also decrease by 0.5 to 0.7 degrees Celsius at the same workload. So for the productivity, for the fully acclimatized workers, they can develop a very, very good productivity. But then I will also to remind you that if a worker left their work site, for example, they have a vacation coming back to their own countries for let's say 1 week or 10 days. Then when they come back, they need to do the acclimatization again, because if you left the current hot, humid environment for just 1 week, you will lose 50% of the acclimatization. And then the fully lost after 4 weeks. So just remember, if you do have workers who just have like a long vacation and coming back from their own country, you need to do the reinduction, acclimatization to get their human body adapted to this environment. And this is also the risk factors for the heat illness among workers. Okay, so do you have any questions? So if you do have any question, I can answer that in the later Q&A session. And this is what I developed the personal level dehydration prevention when I was working in Health Authority Abu Dhabi. So this is quite simple. There are totally 8 procedures. The first one is to ask your workers to drink enough water before coming to work. And then the second one is to develop a well-hydrated scheduling program during work. So you need to ask your workers drink at least 2 liters every 2 to 3 hours. And then the third one is to routinely check the urine color to prevent the dehydration. And the first one is to add the extra salt to the meals. And for workers to prevent the dehydration, you also for the experienced workers, they can do the self-pass, and you need to let them know that these workers, they need to know their body limits, so they don't need to push and doing excess workers then their body can tolerate with. And the sixth one is to get plenty of sleep at night, and to keep them awake. And the last one is to eat fruits and vegetables to keep your electrolyte balanced. And the last one is to develop a good reporting system, because usually some workers, they end up with heat exhaustion, or even the worst situation is because they are not aware or they are afraid to report to their supervisors or HSS officers their physical status. So we need to encourage them to establish like a good reporting or working body mechanism, so they can inform each other if they are not well. So this is quite this is very simple but very efficient when you are going to manage like 1,000 people work size. So this is quite simple 8 procedures. Okay, and then we're going to get into the new gold standard for heat stress assessment in GCC, and that is the new heat stress index. We call it thermal work limit. Okay, so then when we talk about the heat safety, the first one is to how do we measure the heat and how do we assess how dangerous right now it is. So we need an index, we need numbers to tell us how to cope with the heat. And I believe most of you have ever heard the WBGT Weibo Globe Temperature, which was developed 70 years ago in America. And in the beginning, it was first applied to US military when they are doing the training. And this was considered very effective way to react the environment heat. So to measure the WBGT, you need three parameters. The first one is the air temperature, the ambient temperature, comes with the humidity and also the solar radiation. So we measure the solar radiation by using the globe board, and that is the copper globe board. And this is also written in the ISO 7243 and the American Public Health Guidelines. But for the WBGT, based on my experiences in Abu Dhabi, it has some limitations. And I would like to emphasize that the major limitation of the WBGT applying in GCC region is that in very, very hot, very extreme environment, the WBGT may become overly conservative. So what is overly conservative? That means I didn't put the WBGT chart, but if you look at the WBGT chart, you will find that in GCC or in Kuwait, that during the summertime, the most summer days, the WBGT will always show red and the black. And so in the standard, in the original WBGT chart, which means this is not suitable, this is dangerous for workers to work. But as I mentioned before, the workers, the human body can acclimatize to the hot environment. So this is still allowed for acclimatized self-paced workers to work outside. But if you apply the WBGT in Kuwait, you will find, if we apply these standards on site, then everybody is not allowed to work. So in these circumstances, I work with the Curtin University to develop a new heat stress indexes, which is the thermal work limit. So what is the thermal work limit? To briefly explain that is the TWL is a heat stress index that is designed to estimate the maximum sustainable work rate a worker can perform without exceeding safe physiological limits. I know this is very, very absurd. And I want to let you know that the human body has its own mechanism to keep you stay safe. So your body will prevent you develop heat like a fever to 38.2 degree in the core temperature, or the excess sweating rate more than 1.2 liters per hour. So under this physiology, and we also measure the environmental factors to come with these thermal work limits. So the conclusion is that the TWL can be expressed as the metabolic rate of the human. So the unit of the TWL is the watt per square meters. So which means how many energy this environment gives you to work safely. And based on this, you can also develop a work rate cycle and rehydration plan based on thermal work limits. And for the thermal work limit, and it measures the four parameters in the environment. The first one is a dry temperature. Second one is Weibo temperature, and the third one is the globe. And above three are the same as the WBGT. But here for the TWL, which adding the wind speed, because the wind speed is very important for convection of the heat loss. So suppose that if you're working in a breeze environment, you can still feel comfortable and working for a period of time. And to monitor the TWL, it is a suggestion to put the TWL measuring machine in the so-called hotspot of the worksite. The hotspot of the worksite is usually the most workers they are working, and at any time the workers complain of the heat, then you can start to measure the TWL. And these are the environmental parameters used to measure the TWL. And so here we comes with the TWL action levels and the TWL chart. And based on our study and the field experiences, if the TWL, the higher the TWL, which means the safer the environment is, because as I said in the previous slide, the TWL represented the metabolic rate this environment can give you. So the more the environment has, it gives you more energy to work. So, and let's see, there are three numbers, and let's take a look at this bottom number, which is 115. So the 115 watts per square meter energy means this is the minimal energy that can keep you stand still and doing very, very minimal, very, very light work. So if the environment is below this energy, which means you will get fatigue very, very easy because there is no sufficient energy this environment can give to you. Okay, and this is the comparison table between the WBGT and the thermal work limit. And the WBGT, the unit is the degree Celsius. And sometimes people will get confused because it gives you the numbers like 35 or 36, but you are still confused. In these circumstances, should you allow worker to work or not? But the thermal work limit gives you objective numbers, which is the metabolic rate of the human bodies, and it also tested and proven in Gulf regions. So in general, right now, like in Gulf region, UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, they are already adopted the thermal work limit in their standards. And so like ADNOC and Aramco has already included the thermal work limit as the gold standard for the working safety at heat. And so the science behind the TWL is that the TWL consider the human body, the human physiology, and it also consider the wind and also the PPE closing factors, and it also consider the self-pacing of the workers. So I'm going to go very quickly through the Scali TWL products. And this one is the Scali TWL1S. So if anybody of you ever comes from the Abu Dhabi or Dubai, UAE, you will easily find these devices at every work site or every petrol station or the ADNOC work sites. So this has been the #1 selling TWL monitor in Middle East. So right now we are the dominant in UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Oman. And it also gives you the instant TWL reading. So based on the TWL, we also developed the 3-color system. So the red one, which means this is dangerous to work, and the amber one, which means you need to put caution on your workers, and the green one, which means this is safe to work. And you can also download the data from these devices for further analysis or report to your supervisor. And we also, this is also our new product, then that is online real-time reporting, TWL reporting machine. So it can also integrate with the internal IT system so that your supervisors or higher management, they can view the TWL real-time in their office. So this has already been adopted by ADNOC as well. And finally, let's talk about the case studies and the implementation of the TWL and the work in the heat program. So for the TWL implementation, to induce these new heat stress indexes, we have three steps protocol. The first one is the measurement. So you deploy the TW1S, the TW measuring machine at the work site, and doing measurement like every 30 to 60 minutes. And you can schedule your work rate cycle based on the TWL chart. And then the second one is to assess the risk of the heat. So you can compare TWL to the action level threshold. I will explain it later in the next chart. And the last is to management according to the TWL level. And here it is the Health Authority Abu Dhabi Safety in the Heat program, which I was involved back to 12 years ago. And so in these 3 years campaigns, we started from 2012, and we invited more than 300 companies, including the flagship companies in Abu Dhabi, and they cover about 500,000 workers, and also did 6 TW evaluation studies in rolling in Abu Dhabi to test and prove that TWO is actually a very, very efficient way other than the midday break. In Abu Dhabi, in UAE, the midday break is from 12:30 to 3 p.m. And by enforcing the TW monitoring system, which give the employer a flexible and schedule a flexible schedule to for workers. So for some important workers, for some important jobs, they can still allow workers to do it under supervision if the TW level is within the safe zone. So even given that this is during the midday break time. So this is our major finding by adopting the TW at the work site. And the Emirates group, the EK, they also witnessed a significant decrease of the heat illness when they adopted the TWO monitoring system at the Dubai airport. So these are also a few cases. I believe you know this company very well. So far, the Scali TW1S has become the #1 sales heat stress monitoring machines in GCC. And this is the very typical TW chart that we have been utilizing is at the work site. So we already developed the work rest cycles depending on the TW levels. So if this is a low risk, which means the TW is above 140, then you are safe, you are allowed to work. And then for the amber zone, then which means you need to make a caution. And for the risk zone, that is a TW level lower than 115, you should keep alert on all of your workers. And but you can still doing the heavy work even given this situation. And last is the regulatory framework by adopting the TWO in this country. So in UAE, the TWO has already written in the official documents in OSHA and the technical guidelines, and also in the Abu Dhabi and the Dubai municipality. And in Saudi Arabia, the TW has already been adopted by Aramco and the SEC supply chains. And in other countries like in Oman, Australia, the TW has already shown very, very effective ways to prevent the heat stress at the work site. And these are the engineering controls combined with all of these working in the heat procedures. And you need to have the ventilation fans on site to keep the air cooler, and also to have a cool restrooms just in case if any heat-related illness patients occurs. And you can also have a work rate cycle schedule by utilizing the TWL. And and also you can use the administration controls to develop, for example, like a body system for the heat illness reporting, and to check your urine, and to have a PPE on your job site. And this is the acclimatization slide from the ADNOC. And as I mentioned before, if your human body is acclimatized, then you will less likely to experience the heat-related illness. And it usually takes 7 to 10 days to acclimatize. And so how to design and developing a heat safety management program? The first one is to doing a hazard assessment, and then to measure the heat, and the taking action, and training, put awareness campaign on the job site, and finally to monitor and review. So this will become a very, very good cycle for the heat stress management. And let's go back to Kuwait. So there are some heat challenge mentioned in the beginning, and based on my suggestion, I think the TW can help the Kuwait employers to establish like the safe work rates for each job, and also because TW has already been attested and is proving effective in other countries. So you can also combine it with the midday ban, and to have it working more intelligently. So you don't need to stop every work during these working hours. So you can do in a better work risk cycle and the scheduling. And finally, you can build an evidence base for HSE to report, and to make a better instant investigation if you do have this statistic, and if you do have this evidence to help you. Okay, so these are the take-home message for our ASSP members. So the first one is that heat stress is measurable, and it is always manageable. And you can also use in different heat indexes to measure the heat. And then second one, hydration is the number one risk factors. Remember that 40% of workers, they are dehydrated before work. So remember to keep them always rehydrated. And WBGT may not be sufficient for Gulf regions, so you can consider using other heat indices. And acclimatization usually takes 10 to 21 days. And new workers, they are 3 times more vulnerable in their first week. And for the return workers, they also need to do the acclimatization. And finally, the supervision just need a simple, clear action plans. So we can develop like a 3-color flag zone to monitor and also to alert the workers and the work site by adopting the TWL indexes. So these are all of the take-home messages. And finally, thank you very much for today's session. So if you do have any questions, just raise your hand. Thank you. Okay, any questions?
Thank you, Mr. David, for the insightful, valuable, very important topic. Mashallah, you have covered much more information. So let's quickly take the questions.
Yeah, can I?
Yeah, you can unmute yourself and you can ask your question, or else you can post your question in the chat box, or else you can raise your hand so that we can allow one after the other.
Yes, Dr. Ali would like to go. Please, Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi,
I
Dr.
have a
Ali.
comment.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, very clear.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, ASSP and Dr. David Huang. Very interesting, really, presentation. And I agree with you completely. And thank you also for referring to my paper on the second slide. We have done a study on 2018.
Yes.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we have just completed a study. We compared the heat index using Kuwait, KOC, they have heat index, Kuwait Oil Company, also Aramco, Saudi Arabia, and we use the National Weather Service from the USA. And interestingly, as you stated correctly, many days actually the heat index was above the maximum danger. For example, for NWS, it was above 54 Celsius. And for Aramco, it was above 52 Celsius. And even for KOC, it was above 48 Celsius. And during this work ban, for example, in Kuwait, we have work ban from 11 to 4, as you said. We notice also there were some hours as early as 8 a.m. and 7 a.m. and also as late as 5 p.m. and even 7 p.m. where the heat index was above the threshold. So using the heat index itself is not proper, at least from our experience. Even the WBGT, which we have used, it was it overestimates the heat stroke. And I'm very interested really to, we have not done the thermal work limit in Kuwait, and I think there is an opportunity to do such exercise here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ali. Yes, I fully agree with you that, back to 2011 and 2012, when we first implemented the thermal work limit in Abu Dhabi, we did a lot of studies comparing that with WBGT. And I would say, let's go back to a little bit history. So the initial idea to develop the thermal work limit is happening in the mining site at Australia. So, that is very, very extreme working environment, but people still need their workers to work. So they developed this thermal work limit, and we moved this from Australia to Gulf region because we believe it share the same working environment, which is very tough for human bodies. So that's why the beginning of the thermal work limit.
Yes, exactly. Because Kuwait Oil Company, KOC, they are using the WBGT. It is fine,
Correct.
but it's not complete. It will not give exact scoring because KOC actually is the most liberal of all. It has the highest extreme danger when it reaches above 48 Celsius. And most of the time in the summer, it will be above 48 Celsius, the heat index. If you are using the WBGT, also it will be transferable to above this threshold. So I think there is an opportunity to use the TWL for sure.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Mr. Dr. David.
Yes, Hub.
Yeah, I hope I clear my voice. I just want to know, you are in the market, so can you please suggest me few devices which the worker can wear at the time of work?
Okay, so when we're talking about the wearable devices, I would say so far there's no killer application for wearable devices. Well, I mean that if you look at like Japan or Asian markets, there are several wearable WBGT devices for workers, and they are in a very, very low cost. I would say like $70 to $80. But based on my understanding, this can just be a very, very simple reference which cannot reflect the real situation of the worker itself. So for the wearable devices, I don't have a very, very good suggestion for you. But if you are consider for example, to have several heat stress measurement devices put on the work site, then you can put, for example, like 2 or 3 fixed devices in so-called hotspot. And hotspot is usually most workers where they are working with. So you can consider applying this kind of heat stress measuring devices on the work site rather than having workers to put the wearable devices.
Thank you. And I just going through your website, this Scarlet Tech. Now, as
Yes,
we discussed, this TWL1SV, the device, just now you
that's right.
discussed in the presentation, online heat stress
Yes.
weather.
Mhm.
Now, the basic thing is this WBGT is for such a area, right? Not for complete, for 5 meters or
Right.
6 meters. Please go on. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No. Just go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Yes.
so basically, correct me if I'm wrong. This WBGT we are taking for the area, basically,
Mhm.
like 5 meters, yeah, like that, 5 areas, square meters, like that. So, is this the
Mhm.
same thing we can make as a group, this WL1SV, to make more
Uh,
area measurable?
yes. So the idea is very similar. So, which means you can, because no, this is a movable. This is not a fixed measuring devices. So yes, you can move these to different spots of the work site because based on our study that in the basement or in the second floor higher floor of the work site, the measuring result will be totally different. So you can also have your HSC staff, HSC personnel to measure the TWO at different work site at different time. So which is very feasible and allowable in most working situations. So yeah, my answer is very positive. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. David. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And any questions?
Hi, Dr. David Huang. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes. Hi, Sherlock. Hi. How are you?
Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Yeah. So my concern here, Dr. Ali said, and KOC, KNPC, and most of the major companies, they have these instruments to find and take the precautions earlier. But we have certain areas, especially during the humid time, it is easy to get because the persons might started vomiting or they might feel dizzy, and we can have the precautions early. We can, rescue them, or we can give them first aids or something else. But there are cases in extreme heat without humidity. The persons, they don't show often the rashes and all, red rashes and all, but they collapse immediately. How
Yes.
we can find them? How we can have a solution for that? Because there are some certain areas which is isolated, and it will be on open areas that are exposed directly to
Yes.
sun.
That's right. So, well, usually based on my experiences, these cases happen very, very quickly without developing of any symptom and signs. And that is because the human body cannot cope with this extremely high temperature with very, very dry, like dry high temperature is another topic. And if they don't have enough, for example, hydration or enough water with them, then so I would suggest that to put like a misting devices, misting machines around that area if allowed. But usually, you will face like the HSC usually like facing the budget disputes with a higher management. So
Yeah.
I know this sometimes is not very feasible, but just to keep your workers alerted and keep them hydrated. So this is only situation that I can make, and this is very tough, very difficult. I mean, in the real situation.
I do agree that on that. Thank you so much. Let me ask you
You're
one more
welcome.
doubt. If
Sure.
we are doing this mist, will it cause any other diseases?
Well, so if you are considering like the hygiene or other problem, I mean, compare with the heat illness, and usually, if you do have good water piping system, then there's nothing should be worried about.
That's great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Dev.
You're welcome.
In the chat box, there are some questions. They're telling like they're asking for the presentation or slides, if you can share.
Oh, yes. Yes, I can share later. So I can also will ask the artificial intelligence AI to make the A4 documents to summarize today's presentation.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. David. Once again, now, if there are no further more questions or no any comments, we'll go for a vote of thanks and then conclusion of the session.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah. I request my Vice President, Mr. Yusuf, for the vote of thanks.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yeah. Clear.
Yeah, thank you.
Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. Kashif. Before going for vote of thanks, just I wanted to know, is there anyone, the new people, those who attended first time this our technical meet?
Yes, sir.
How do
I'm
you
attending
feel?
very first time.
Yeah. How do you feel about this one?
It was very best and very much knowledgeable. I'm so
Much.
grateful for all of you to attend this very, very informative and learning session. Thank you very
Can you
much.
introduce yourself, please?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ishfaq Hussain, and basically I'm an engineer. I am working in Pakistan as a regional lead QHSC.
MashaAllah, excellent. Thank you, Mr. Ashwak Hussain, for attending this technical meeting. It is really informative and very useful for everyone. And thanks for attending from different parts of the globe. Any other, please?
Yes, I am also attending for the first time. It is truly insightful. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. So
What's your
conversant.
good name?
Sherlock.
Yeah, Mr. Sherlock. From?
From India.
Hey, mashallah. Thank you, Mr. Sherlock. Thanks for attending.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
Mr. Sir, can you guide us how we can get the update about the future meetings? Because I got the information from any source to attend this session or to attend this meeting.
like,
You
see,
can,
we have. Yeah, please go ahead.
yeah, we have multiple platforms, social media platform. You can follow those and you'll be getting updates. Like LinkedIn, majorly, we post a lot of updates on our LinkedIn post. And even I can guide you to be our members and you'll be keep getting updates about our upcoming events. I'll share the number also. Right?
Yeah, please. Thank you. Thank
Sure.
you so much.
No problem.
Yeah, he's Mr. Khayyum, our chief executive. You can just coordinate with him
Mr.
and
Ishfaq, are you
please
from
have
Kuwait or out of Kuwait?
No, sir, I'm from Pakistan.
Okay. Actually, we are working in Kuwait. It's a Kuwait chapter called. So you have a ASSP chapter in Pakistan, as my understanding. You can join our technical meets through virtually. There is no harm in it. So that's why I wanted to confirm whether you are located in Kuwait or somewhere else. Thank you for the information.
Okay, sir. So thank
Go ahead, Isubhai.
Yeah. So thank you, attendees, for from the different parts of the globe. Say this one, our main concern is to give knowledge. So knowledge, it's power. So this is the hot topic, which is very important for the people who are in Gulf, because the temperature it's going to raise now. So this is the peak time, and everyone should have the knowledge of this heat stress, because as the heat increases, like how they had to adopt themselves. And as Mr. David said, our human body, it's a magic machine. So it adapts to the hot environment. But continuous exposure, it may lead to the incidents. So that is the thing, it may lead to the diseases. And as he already discussed about the heat stress, heat illness, all these things in detail. And mashallah, it was very excellent topic. And on behalf of ASSP Kuwait chapter, I thank Mr. David for giving time for us and to providing the knowledge for the for the people who are there from different parts of the globe. So really, it is very interesting. And thank you, Mr. David, for covering the whole, not only Kuwait, you have covered the other parts of GCC countries. And really, it was really excellent because our participants, they are attending from different parts of the globe. Everyone, they have got benefited with the knowledge what you have given to us. And really, it was excellent thing. And you have discussed each and every part of this one, the heat stress, the dehydration, the water and salt, that is sodium salt, and the supplement what it has to be taken. Really, it was really excellent, this one, for providing the knowledge and giving time for us. And as you discussed about this one, WBGT, this one, wet bulb globe temperature, and the thermal work limit, TWL. Really, it was really excellent as it is working like a traffic signal lights. This one, red, yellow, and green, the same way what it is working, this instrument, this device, TWL. The red, which is danger, and yellow, which needs to be protected, and green, which is good for work, which is when it is more than 140. So really, it is really excellent thing which we are doing this one in KNPC, and we are using this instruments. And really, it was excellent knowledge which you have shared for us. And finally, you gave the takeover also for all our members. And really, it is this one, uh, this heat stress, it is measurable and it is manageable. So we have to measure and we can manage ourselves. So we can protect ourselves and we can protect all our colleagues who are working with us. So this is very excellent thing. And thank you, Dr. Ali, for providing the knowledge about this one, the KOC. You have worked really, this one, you have done big projects. Mashallah, it was good, very good knowledge you have also shared for us. And
I have a suggestion, actually.
yeah, please. Yeah, Mr. Ali.
Yeah. Since now the ASSP took the initiative to provide knowledge on this topic, I will give you important information. Now, the ILO, International Labour Organization, they have sent official, maybe this is the first time you hear this, they have sent an official letter from ILO to Kuwait Ministry of Exterior, Wizarat al-Kharijiyya, Kuwait Ministry of Exterior, stating that Kuwait needs more effort to mitigate the heat stress on workers. They have what's called the Human Rights Watch, HRW, Human Rights Watch. So ILO, through the official letter to Kuwait government, stated that Kuwait should implement such strategy through like a setup of organizations. So my suggestion is we should set up some type of a committee between let's say Kuwait's oil sector and also from the expertise of David and through his success stories in the Middle East and through other organizations in Kuwait to help the ministry to implement really a policy for the heat reduction of heat stress on workers, because this is an official letter that has come to the government. So through this initiative of ASSP, my suggestion is to continue and do some type of, I don't know, maybe we need to think more about it, but we have to continue on scheduling some type of like a focal point or of a policy reform of a committee to help the government of Kuwait to kind of work with ILO, Human Rights Watch, to set up a policy using the techniques that Dr. David has mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ali. Thank you. It's a really very good this one important information which you shared about the ILO. And really seriously we'll work it on this, and as you know, this one based upon the conditions, our professionals, they came forward this one to just help wherever it is required, and in the same way we can just form this one a committee, and we can just help this one to take this point seriously, inshallah. So we'll be back to you. We'll be coming. Yeah. And before ending this one, this is a small token of appreciation from ASSP for you, Mr. David. So thank you for giving your valuable time for us, and thank you for sharing the knowledge. And really, it was excellent time what we have spent this one with you. And mashallah, it was really excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you a lot.
Inshallah. Again, thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you, Mr. David.
Thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Ali. And we shall discuss sometime else about this one. Like we'll see about how we can frame the committee, and we can just do this one for our country, inshallah, for Kuwait, inshallah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you all.
If any member has any kind of feedback, then they can scan this QR code and submit the feedback. It will help us to improve on our upcoming meets, technical meets.
Yes. As our chief executive said, if you have any suggestions, or like you can just scan this one, and you can send your suggestions, your feedback, anything like that, so that we can just take it seriously, and we can try to help as more number of professionals as possible. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.